The Toronto real estate market will see a staggered return of both buyers and sellers as we move forward into the spring market. At least that's what an RBC economist is predicting moving forward. I'm Michael Ouzas. I'm a realtor here in Toronto. And if you ever want to book a call with me to discuss what exactly is happening on the ground level in the Toronto real estate market, you can click on that first link in the description down below. We're a few days away for the March numbers officially coming out on record for the Toronto Real Estate Board. But as someone who tracks the data every single week, one thing I can mention is that March was a bit of an interesting month. We had March break for those who have kids in school. There was also another week of March break if someone had kids in private school. And we also have an early Easter this year, putting it at the end of March, which if you're watching this video would be coming out on Easter weekend. Those three factors alone may have put some sellers and some buyers on hold when it comes to whatever they're looking to do in real estate. I don't think it's a secret that April 2nd will be the official start of the spring market and hopefully the start of some better weather here in Toronto as we just got dumped on in snow last weekend. But as we move forward into the spring market, there's a couple of things that I think will be really important to monitor as we move forward. Before we jump into that, let's take a look at the RBC article where the economist from RBC talks about how it's going to be a staggered market between buyers and sellers. Jumping over to the article on the Financial Post, it's titled, "Housing Market Will See Staggered Return of Buyers and Inventory." And inventory, of course, is sellers coming to market. And this is taken from RBC, where an economist believes it will take a series of rate cuts before many are ready to take the plunge. It mentions in this caption that some observers have forecast a busy spring season as buyers, heartened by the prospect of Bank of Canada interest rate cuts, rush back to market. If you've been watching this channel for some time, you've probably heard me say that the fixed rates have actually been coming down since October, where we saw both the fixed rates and the variable interest rates quite high, somewhere in that 6.5% to 7% range. The fixed rates have been quietly coming down in the back end. Well, maybe not so quietly because we've been talking about it on this channel, but the fixed rates now we are starting to see anywhere in between that 5 to 5.5 rate, while the variable is still remaining up and around that 7 mark. And that's due to the Bank of Canada that's been pausing for the last few announcements. The next announcement is in April, and I don't foresee them doing anything on the interest rate standpoint, especially in a cut standpoint, especially given that it will be the start of the spring market at the same time. And if that's the case, then the variable will still stay where it is at, and the fixed is already almost 1.5% to 2% we're already on that front. Home buyers are unlikely to flood back into the housing market this spring. Rather, their return will be staggered over the second half of the year. This is Assistant Chief Economist Robert Hogue from Royal Bank of Canada. He also believes it will take a series of rate cuts before many are ready to take the plunge. It also mentions that mortgage rates will need to come down substantially before they get the green signal. We're likely to see a bit more activity going forward, but more of a gradual ramp up as opposed to a sharp snapback this spring. Later in the article, it mentions that after 5 months of declining, Canadian home prices have started to stabilize. Benchmark home price of $719,400 in February remained unchanged from the previous month, according to the latest data from the Canadian Real Estate Association. Hogue believes this could signal the cyclical bottom for home prices, but he doesn't think they'll ramp up rapidly from here on. Instead of a sharp climb, he sees prices shifting higher gradually along with market activity. And you can check out the financialpost.com for the rest of this article. There's two things that stand out to me in this article. And the first one talking about how rates would need to come down for more buyers to come into the market. And I do believe that that is true to an extent. On the fixed side, as we've discussed, is that rates have been lower than the variable for a bit of time now. And those buyers that have been looking and actively searching so far are most likely pre-approved. And those pre-approvals can give you anywhere between 90 to 120 days of a rate hold. We are seeing multiple offers when it comes to freehold properties. So townhouses, semi-detached and detached properties still remain quite active in the city of Toronto, especially in and around that $1 million price point. That average price seems to have been hovering around 1.1 million for quite some time if you watch that market stats video. And that's where things have been trending as we move along. And in that price point, we are seeing competition amongst buyers along the way. The second metric that this article mentions is that sellers that may be on the sidelines and waiting for a better price for their home might also be waiting for those rates to decrease. And that's why they discuss how this could be a staggered market between buyers and sellers. If buyers are waiting for rates to drop and sellers are also waiting for rates to drop, you'll bring about more buyers to the market, but also more properties for them to choose from. What we are noticing in those properties that are highly active is that they show very well in photos and in person. The properties that need more work right now seem to be sitting on the market for longer periods of time, unless they're very well priced and in very desirable areas. On the condo standpoint, we are seeing activity pick up as we've gone along through March, which does show that buyers are coming back into the market for condos. Definitely a different picture of where things were in October of last year. And now we're 6 months later and rates have come down. Inventory has also come down. Even though we're seeing properties on the market for sale, the unique properties such as lofts and great layouts are still performing very well in today's market. I'd love to hear your thoughts on if you think the spring market will be a staggered market and if we're going to see an influx of buyers coming to market ready to go take a look at those new properties coming available. I'm Michael Ouzas. Thanks for watching.